I find Peru very interesting because we were like delving into this a little bit. Peru has had like they average like an impeachment every like 15 months. The past like 7 or 8 years.
Well, they've had 5 presidents in 7 years.
Yeah.
And all 5 of those presidents are in jail.
No, the one got out. The one was pardoned.
Which one?
Oh no, that was a different one. That guy was also in jail.
But they all went to jail.
What's his name? Eduardo, the Japanese guy.
Oh,
Alberto
Fujimoto. Fujimoto?
I think it was Alberto Fujimoto.
Fujimori. Alberto yes. Fujimori.
Is was the Peruvian president in like the 80s and 90s.
Japanese, but he was born in
descent.
Peru. I think that's important to mention.
And then he fled back to Japan when he
stole money, I think.
Indicted on. No, he was like ordering death squads to kill people.
And I think he also stole money.
I don't think they were as worried about that one anymore.
That's
Once
true.
they found out about the murder.
The death squads were probably pretty big.
So this guy was chilling in in Japan for a little bit and was like, you know what? I know if I go back to Peru, I'll get arrested. But Chile, which is right
it's a classic.
Right below Peru, right there.
I like how you pointed at
See it pointed? Yeah, you can see it, right, Kev?
I can see it, and shout out Senora for, I know a lot about Chile in the weirdest way.
This dude thought he'd be all right there, and then he got arrested there.
You know what I think that was? I think it was a classic case of...
Returning to the scene of the crime?
No.
All right, go on.
I think it was just... we should have looked up, like, what year did he get caught in Chile? Do we know?
Somewhere in the 90s, I think.
And when did he flee to Japan?
Also the 90s.
Really?
Should we look up the exact...
I figured he just got complacent and he was just in Japan. He was like, all right, it's been a couple of years. I thought maybe at least 10. And he was like, all right, like, I'm just going to go to Chile. Nobody's going to find me. And they got him.
He...
You know what I mean?
Not really, no. I wasn't listening either, I'm sorry.
Well, like, he was in Japan, he fled, and, like, it simmered down. And then he was like, all right, I'll just go on this vacation or whatever to Chile. And somebody recognized him or something, and he got popped.
Yeah, I think he fled in the 2000s. It wasn't that long, though.
He's just an idiot.
So in 2000, he left to attend a regional summit in Brunei. Where's Brunei?
I have no fucking idea. Where the fuck is Brunei?
Brunei, right there.
That's its own country? Or
it's its own little country. It shares the island of Borneo with Malaysia. That's where the orangutans live.
Okay.
It's very small, though. And then he went to Japan, at which point he tried to fax in his resignation.
That was the funniest part. That was the best part.
To which Peru's very powerful Congress rejected and said, no, we're impeaching you, motherfucker, and we're charging you with corruption and murder. It's very interesting to see how powerful Peru's Congress is, especially how it relates to the reason we're covering the story today.
Honestly, good for them. They got a pretty strong government.
But the reason the Congress is so strong is because when Alberto Fujimori took over, he rewrote the Constitution. Because he took over during a time of crisis. Like they were.
So he fucked himself?
By
introducing a stable government?
He definitely... he definitely used that Constitution to his advantage for his entire presidency, but...
But in the end...
Yeah, I think he fucked himself by doing the murder squads more than anything.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I don't know how much, like...
But it could be argued that if he didn't introduce a stable government to the country of Peru, that he probably would have got away with it.
I don't think I would consider a country that has 5 presidents in 7 years a stable government.
That's very fair. All right.
Their Congress is overbalanced, like overwhelmingly too strong. They don't have a balance of power. Their executive office is very weak, and their Congress is Western-backed, meaning...
Yeah, what does that mean?
The special interests, the NGOs, non-governmental organizations that receive their funding from the same super PACs that fund political campaigns, they also fund the Congress people in Peru.
Interesting.
So their like right-wing government their right-wing Congress is very amenable to Western pressure, especially corporate interests. Because that's really what, especially America, but Western governments do,
Money.
is act as a legislative and executive and intergovernmental, like, what's the word? Like, ambassador for the business operations from their country to get into other countries and fucking pillage their resources. Because this guy that was just, he was removed, he was impeached from the government. What was the president's name?
Pedro Castillo.
Castillo was the president of
101 out of
Peru.
130 people voted to impeach him.
Yeah, he was the president until basically yesterday. What was it?
What's your...
Yeah, 2 days ago, December 7th. He was impeached and removed from office by the Congress after attempting to dissolve the Congress. So,
right. So what's your take on that? Where do you think the coup is coming from?
Right. Well, so let's set it up because there's two schools of thought.
Okay, yeah.
Is that Pedro Castillo, in trying to dissolve his Congress and form a new constitution and new government for the first time since Fujimori's, was doing a coup.
But he was only doing that because he was being impeached
By the Congress.
which they are saying is a coup against them.
They're saying, now we're in a coup circle.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in a coup pond. I think the definition of coup needs
No,
basically...
but that's exactly what you just said. So that's where I'm losing it, because they're saying it's a coup against him. We both just said the same thing, I'm pretty sure.
I think he's... Yeah, I mean, one person is either coupping the other or
Yeah,
not.
but how... I understand how it's a coup on his end toward the government.
Well, okay, so you make that argument, and I'll make the argument that the government is coupping him.
Okay, all right. He was being impeached, and he was like, I need to rewrite Congress, so I'm not impeached. And then I'm just going to, be the fucking president forever.
Right, but
so I'm cooing against them.
But he was only being impeached because he opposed Western-backed values.
Right.
Because he's an indigenous person.
That just seems like a standard impeachment to me. That doesn't seem like a coup.
In a country where you have an impeachment every year, you have to stop being able to say this is just a standard impeachment. This is business as usual. You have to say maybe this Congress is abusing their power to just put people in that they want to be in.
For a year, and they're just like, this guy is not it.
Yeah, every time someone stands up to them, they go, well, fuck him.
I don't know. I just wouldn't call it a coup from the other end.
From the end of him trying to dissolve the from the end of him being impeached.
Yes.
Okay, so you think a coup was foiled.
Yes.
You think he was trying to steal power from them.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they wanted to impeach him already, and then he
Right.
was just like, I'm just going to rewrite this shit, bitch.
Right.
And then,
Right. So you decide what you think,
Yeah,
people. Let us
yeah,
know in the
100%,
comments, because
100%.
I'm open to either point of view. First of all, I feel like I always like to side with the underdog. And I think this, like,
Who's the underdog here?
the president.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But also, I also just like to play devil's advocate, and I really don't have an opinion.
All right.
Like,
I definitely...
I think it also depends on your definition of coup. Like, can you do a coup?
I agree with that.
Is a coup just taking the top guy out? Because technically the president's the top guy.
Well, that's where I disagree with the definition of coup.
Because then you could also say, is a coup just taking who has the real power and taking it away from them? In that case, then I would agree that he was going for the power, which is the Congress. And then it is a coup.
Right, and that's why
Yeah.